Hello everyone. So in today's video we're going to be doing a pause menu. Now every good game needs a pause menu or a pause system of some kind. I will be showing you two different kinds of pause systems in this video and probably the next one as well. Both of which are set up pretty much in the exact same way, but the only difference is the functionality of the pause system itself. So I've went ahead and imported our pause menu graphics, and we need the background, the sprite pause cursor, and the pause selector. Now you can find those, if I go in here, you can find those under HUD elements in your sprites category. So go to sprites, go to HUD elements, that's the wrong thing. HUD elements, and just import pause background, cursor, and selector image. So go ahead and do all of that, and when you're done, then come back here and we will get started on the object. Now before we get started on the object itself, let's go ahead and categorize these. So let's do one for the hero, in which we will drag and drop our hero. Let's do one for collision events. Our general collision will go in there. And then last but not least, the weapons. And then the sword and the boomerang will go in there. Alright, so now that we have our categories, let's create another one called controllers. In this one, we're going to put two objects today, but let's create our first one first. So let's name this object pause handler, just like that. Does not need a sprite. It will be visible. You do have to click visible because otherwise it won't work, but since it doesn't have a sprite, it will be invisible. So upon create, control, piece of code, instance, deactivate all, and then in the parentheses is a check. Basically it checks whether or not the current instance that is deactivating everything is also deactivated, or rather it checks to see if it's not affected by the deactivation. So internally this is known as not me, so we want to write true here because we want to say that it will deactivate all instances except for this one, so it's not this one. So go ahead and click that. Actually, no, we're not done with that yet. Create a couple more lines, and then here's what else we need. Pause equals 0, and alarm 0 equals 5. And that's all we need for this. So go to modify, click alarm 0, drag a piece of code, pause equals 5. That's all we need for that. Then in our step event, actually, we don't even need a step event, so go ahead and delete that. We will need a draw event this time, so don't delete that one. Instead, go ahead and add a destroy event. And then in the destroy event, go ahead and type instance activate all, and then open and close parentheses. Now this one does not have a modifier here, so the only thing we'll need is this. Okay, now in our draw event, we need a comment, which is across from the code thing in the code section. So go ahead and insert a comment, and here's what we're going to do. Actually, you know what? Never mind. We're going to put this all in the same thing, which is going to make it a lot crowded. Which is going to make it very crowded, but let's go ahead and do it that way at first anyway. So we'll do keyboard check pressed VK space. I forgot my if. If keyboard check pressed VK space. Okay, and then within that, if pause is greater than 0, then instance destroy. Now this is basically telling this that if you press space while the thing is active and pause is greater than 0, then it will get rid of the instance. And as we set it up, when instance is destroyed, it will activate all other instances. So that is pretty much our pause menu done as far as functionality goes for basic pause menu. So let's go ahead and add something to where you know that it's paused. In other words, let's make the word pause. So this is just to familiarize you with draw events, because draws are very useful for pause handlers, for text on the screen, for heads-up displays, all this kind of stuff. So this is to familiarize you with that. So we're going to be doing draw set color C white. This sets the color of whatever is drawn after this to white. So anything that we draw after this, unless we change the color again after this, will be drawn in white. So after that, let's do DrawTextExtended. It's just DrawTextExt. Then we need X and Y. Then our string, what we want the text to read. And then we want spacing and width. So the X and Y is pretty simple. So all we are going to do here is display get width divided by 2, and then display get height divided by 2, and then the string is going to be dash, oopsie, paused, dash, and then the spacing will be default, so it'll be -1. -1 returns default spacing, basically. Then the width will be view wview open standard bracket, and then type in view current. Now, and then you can close that. So let's go ahead and check the syntax, which is this button beside the printer button. As you can see, it returns no errors, which means this is completed. If we didn't have, for example, this, and we click this, as you can see down here, it'll say undetermined parentheses at this point. That's because this parenthesis is now commented out, and it returns an open parentheses. So that is basically a button that you can press when you think you have everything, but you're not sure. Alternatively, you can go up here to build keyword list functions, and then you can type in your current functions. So DrawTextExtended, and this will tell you every single thing that you need for it. So for standard DrawTextExtended, it's a little bit hard to read because it has all of these little points in here for C++, but the only things that you need to worry about are the things that are connected with the underscores here, plus the things right to the left of the commas. So this DrawTextExtended needs X, Y, then your string, then your separation, and then your width. And then there's other things. Enigma has other functions for this as well, but this is the only one that we need at the moment. So anyways, back to view wview. So this right here will return the value of the current view being used. So if it's not 0, which I use 0 by default, but if the view is not set to 0, then this will basically get the view number that you're using, basically. So, and then this returns the width of the current display. Then we divide that by 2 to place the text in the middle of the width bit, basically. And then likewise, this gets the height of the display, and then we divide it by 2 to place the text in the center height-wise. So let's go ahead and create our controller. So our main controller will also go in controllers. So I guess we're doing No, we will just do 2. So rename it to object controller, and then delete the create event, and then the step event, go to code, and then type in if keyboard check pressed VK space, then if instance number of object pause handler is less than 1, then instance create. You can use X and Y here, or you can use 0, 0. Really doesn't matter where it's placed. Object pause handler. And that is the call. Now the controller needs to be placed within the room, and we also need to make sure that it will stay there regardless of what room you're in. To do this, you click the persistent thing right here, persistent button. So this basically allows you to have this object in every room in the game. So whenever you change rooms, it will always persist to that point. But we still need to place it into our room. So go ahead and go into your room, and then place the object controller somewhere within the room. Then save it, and we'll test it. Okay, so everything currently works. Now let's go ahead and test the pause menu. Okay, so this is very interesting, and I think I know why it does this. So the text is not displaying, but as you can see, everything else works perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix the text. Instead of doing display get width and display get height, let's just go ahead and use the view variables. So view xView view current plus, and let's see here, the height of the width of the room is 320, so we'll do 110. Actually, it would be 160, I think. Sounds about right. And then with the Y, we'll do view yView view current plus, and then 240, so it'll be 120. So that should place it within the center. And also, let's make sure that we have our view set up, which I think we did. Yeah, we do have our view set up. So let's go ahead and save and test it now. There it is. Okay, so as you can see, it is a little bit off center, but this is because the text is so large, so we need to reposition it to be centered. But you can do that if you want to keep your pause menu the same like this, but this is not what we're going to be focusing on. So go ahead and delete the draw set color and the draw text extended, and we will work on our actual pause menu. But unfortunately, we're going to have to look at the main pause menu in the next episode, as I have run out of time in this episode. So if you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and comment if you really want to, and subscribe, and share it with anyone who you think might enjoy watching this kind of content, or who is curious as to how to create a game themselves. And I think that's about it. Thank you all very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode where we will finish our pause handler.